Okay. We are live right now, y'all, and we will be back with the title, the subject. I'm doing a whole bunch of things at one time. In a minute, as I find my introduction right quick. Okay, here we go. We'll be right back.
That's right. We're on live. We're going to get this thing done one way or another. What's up to y'all?
Welcome back to the show. My name is Anthony Parker, and I have a special guest with me. We did this video yesterday, but it was not done the way that I wanted it to, and all this other stuff. So they say second time is the charm. So welcome to Third Eye Visions, y'all, where we motivate the blind, stimulate your mind, and welcome all kinds. That's the new motto. What you think about it, new guest?
I like it.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you don't. Okay, that's what I was thinking. You don't
It's
sound too
catchy.
enthused.
I like it.
It's catchy. Well, let me give it to him one more time. Welcome to Third Eye Visions, where we motivate the blind, stimulate your mind, and welcome all kinds. I know it sounds kind of fake, but anyway, dating with a disability part 2. And the reason why I'm doing part 2 is because I want to get my guest perspective. Her name is Jennifer Janelle, right?
Yes.
And I want to get her perspective from a blind person's point of view. We had my friend on here, Chanel, a couple of weeks ago, and she had given her perspective, and she was in a wheelchair and what have you, and she gave some very important points. And I want to get Jennifer's perspective from a blind person's point of view, as I mentioned. But before I does and do's and do all that, make sure to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit the notification bell, please, man. Let's make this thing jump off. This is the new movement, and I'm glad to have Jennifer a part of it. So without further delay, let's welcome my friend and your friend to the show, all the way from Las Vegas, Jennifer. What's up, girl?
Hey. What's going on? Whatever. What's going on? How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Glad to have you here, Jennifer. Now, the title of the show, Dating with a Disability. This is part 2. Dating with a disability may have its many downfalls. And over the years, there are many. But I want to get your opinion on that particular statement that I just made.
Dating nowadays is a struggle in itself. I think that having a disability or being blind might make it a little bit more difficult. So yeah, it's not that easy, especially if you have I want to say high standards like I do. I expect certain things, so it's really difficult for me because because of my experiences in the past, I will not settle for less than what I want. I lowered my standards before, and I ended up lowering myself to that person's standards.
Okay.
And it did not work for me at all.
Okay, well, before we get into all that, and y'all stay tuned because we want to know about what her standards are and whatnot. And hopefully maybe you all may be in the running for a mate. Briefly tell the people how you lost your sight. Just detail a little bit about it.
I have a rare aggressive form of retinitis pigmentosa. So I think people with retinitis pigmentosa can see like shadows and contrast. Maybe well into their 30s, sometimes in their 40s. I lost shadows and contrast when I was a teenager. I had to start using a cane when I was 10 and start learning Braille when I was 8. So I was able to see lights for a while. And even now, if it's bright enough or on certain days, I might be able to tell the difference between light and dark. But for the most part, it's just non-existent.
Okay. So as they say, what you don't, like a lot of people ask, what you don't see nothing, and you don't see nothing, you don't see black, as if we know what black is. But that's another subject. Now, getting back to the topic, which is dating with oh my God, dating with a disability. I want to ask you this question. In your humble opinion, why do you feel that some people are afraid to date someone who has an impairment of some sort?
They just don't know how to handle it. They think that they have to do more than they have to do. Some people don't know how to approach a person with a disability, which is unfortunate because we're people. We go where they go, do what they do. We live, breathe, eat, sleep. We want to live. So I don't know what goes through people's head. I've heard from people that, some people don't know how to approach you. They find your disability intimidating.
Okay. Do you think? And sometimes if I'm pausing, it's because I'm trying to read comments and do everything. But do you think that people feel threatened in the sense that, I don't know if I can deal with this, or I don't know how to react, or
Well, yeah, that's what I said. They don't really know how to act and how to treat a person with a disability, and a lot of it is ignorance, and people don't want to. They're afraid to ask questions, which is an icebreaker. It's good to ask questions. There are some people, I've met a few people, blind people and people with disabilities, that hate for anyone to ask them anything. And if that person doesn't want you to ask them questions, that's not the person that you want to talk to. However, don't think just because that person doesn't want you to ask questions, every person in that situation doesn't want you to ask questions. I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. To me, there is no such thing as a stupid question. If you don't know, you don't know. So you can ask me anything. But some people get offended by questions that you ask. And like I said, if they get offended by those questions, that's just not the person to talk to. But, people like me, you can ask, like, walk up. I've had people walk up to me and say stuff like, "You really blind?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, you're so pretty." Like I'm not supposed to be pretty. But I just say thank you because I don't want to make them uncomfortable. You know what I mean? They're not trying to be mean or anything. They just don't know any better.
Okay. And being as though it's your duty and to show them and tell them what needs to be done before we go any further, give them one tip that they could use when approaching someone who is visually impaired that they feel that they might find interesting.
Don't point out the fact that a visually impaired person is blind first. We already know that. We're living with that. So we already know that. But if you have a question, that it's fine to ask questions. I have my favorite pickup line. It was so cute, but by the wrong person. This guy came up to me and he told me that I was pretty. And he said, "Well, how do you use your phone?" So I showed him my phone and I showed him that it talks and how it reads the apps and everything. So he said, "Can I see it?" And I gave it to him. He said, "How do I put my number in here?" And I thought it was cute.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, that's cute. That's a nice little line right there." So I mean, be you when you are approaching someone. Don't try to be all extra sensitive, and pity is not necessary. We live with it. It's our life. So we don't need anyone to feel sorry for us. If you think I'm cute, tell me I'm cute. You want my number, ask for my number and I'll give it to you. Give me your number. It's just a regular exchange. It doesn't have to be anything that you do differently. Approach me like you would approach somebody you can see. I used to walk down the street and guys would be like, "Hey, chocolate." That's how they speak to any other person. Talk to me like you speak to. And I'm not saying that was flattering. It was actually kind of annoying. Right. But I'm just saying, be you. Don't Don't be all extra because you see a person in a wheelchair with a cane or with a dog.
Okay.
You know, you can take that opportunity to, you know, break the ice. Oh, that's a pretty dog. Where'd you get your dog from? Or, you know, I like to be at, sometimes people walk up to me and ask me if I need help with something. I don't mind that. That's, you know, and while you're helping me, we could talk.
Okay. Great advice. Great advice. Do you feel that we as visually impaired people, or people who are confined to a wheelchair, or people who are impaired, hearing impaired, have to go an extra mile to try to prove to people who they are potentially dating, you know, so that they can understand, well, hey, I mean, even though I have an impairment or disability, I still can do these things. I still can cook. I still can whatever. You know, what's your opinion in regards to that matter?
I don't think that we should go an extra mile to prove that. We don't have to prove anything to anybody. And if you feel like you have to prove something to someone, you probably have some internal issues that you need to deal with. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. Just be yourself. If you do certain things, do those things, and that person will see you doing those things. People can tell when you're going above and beyond what you normally do, and it kind of makes you look desperate, and it's a turn off. I'm me. When I meet somebody, I'm me. I Every day I have to cook, and every day I have to clean up. Every day I have to get dressed. I have to get my daughter ready for school. These are things that I do every day that people find amazing, and that's fine. I like it when people find those things amazing. I'm freaking awesome. Yes, I'm doing this in the dark. Can you do it? I'm awesome. And it's great that they think it's amazing, but it's our regular. It's what we do every day.
Right.
You don't have to do extra because what you already do is amazing enough. This girl that I know, she's totally blind, and she was getting ready to cross the street, and a guy asked her if she needed help. And she told him no, and she didn't like to be touched. So she just said, "No, I don't need your help, and please don't touch me." So he says, "Okay." And when a light changed, she crossed the street, and he walked next to her, just not talking to her or touching her.
Right.
He walked next to her. And when she got across the street, he looked at her, he said, "That was amazing." And he went back across the street, you know, and went about his business. And she kind of couldn't understand what he thought was amazing. It's amazing that you're walking in the dark on a big street in traffic. There are people who can see who are terrified to cross the street, and you just cross the street. He was really nice because he respected her enough not to touch her. But he walked with her because he just wanted to make sure that she got across the street, and he wanted to see how she was going to do it. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And that, if she wasn't so uptight, that could have turned into something, you know, a potential relationship or friendship or something like that. But you know, she didn't go above and beyond what she normally does.
Okay.
She just crossed the street. You don't have to do extra.
Just
be you.
So okay, well, we just got a question from a young lady. She wants to know: are you dating, and if so, how long have you been dating?
I am not dating right now. I have not dated in years. Like, I haven't dated in a while.
And that's not because of you being.
It has nothing to do with me being blind.
Okay.
It has everything to do with I was focused on adopting my daughter, and then I was focused on my transition to Las Vegas, Nevada. I've been here for a little bit over a year, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I've noticed that the men here, I hate generalizing people, but just in my experience, the men here are like Mexicans and white girls. So it's a little bit difficult for me to like meet people. I have friends, but and then the men that I do attract they're all wrong. So no, I'm not dating right now.
Okay. And as far as dating, have you dated blind people or sighted people or both, or what's the situation as far as that? So,
I've never dated a blind person before. I I've I've not been in. I haven't met any that I was attracted to, and my um, association with blind people has been very limited all my life. I was mainstreamed when I went to school. There were a few blind people there, but mostly girls. And once I graduated from high school, I actually had no contact with any other blind people for a very long time. So I met, one guy once, and we had like a little fling, but it wasn't a relationship or anything like that.
okay,
But other than that, no, I have never dated a blind man before. No.
okay. And what about like have you talked with anyone in reference to app to dating people who are impaired? Like, because I've spoken with individuals and they say, well, white people or black people or Asian people, blah blah blah. They've sort of put things in a category and stay and was telling me that these people are more this person or that person more compassion to dating people who are impaired. What about you? Have you? Um,
I haven't spoken to anyone who's had that experience as far as being blind go. I know people who are sighted who have like that issue, like they might say one race is easier to date than another, but no one as far as being blind goes. The few blind people that I know, they are married, and they're mixed marriages and then same race marriages, and it works for them either way. So they don't say like one race is better. It has nothing to do with race and everything to do with personality.
okay. Well, as we conclude, because I just want to bring you on, get your opinion about it. Do you have any last minute comments? Any dating tips, advice for individuals who want to date individuals who are blind or confined to a wheelchair or maybe hearing impaired and what have you?
Only to be yourself. When you are yourself, people let people be attracted to you. Like, don't overdo anything. Love you, because you have to love you first before anyone else can love you.
Mm,
So, and how you feel on the inside is shown on the outside. Like, you can feel bad on the inside and you can get real pretty dialed up and everything, but
mm.
it still shows, in your facial expressions and everything. So you have to find yourself, love yourself, and everything else will fall into place. And don't be desperate. God got somebody for you. You don't have to, like, I know sometimes it gets lonely.
Mm,
uh, I know that I've felt that,
mm.
but you have to be patient and wait on that right one. Don't be with somebody just for the sake of being with somebody, because you'll end up miserable and that person end up miserable, and you could be miserable by yourself. You don't need no extra drama. So yeah, love you, and wait on that perfect somebody. If
Okay,
it doesn't work out, just take the lessons that you learned from that relationship and move on. Don't make the next person pay for what the last person did, but take the lessons that you learned and move on.
great information, great tips. I really appreciate you coming on talking about this. Definitely, we have a young lady who's full of confidence, a ball of fire, and very sure about herself. And I think that particular piece of confidence should resonate throughout everyone, and definitely don't feel that you can't find that right person. So without repeating what she said, I'm gonna stay with that. And I want to thank you, Jennifer, for coming on and sharing your perspective from a blind person's point of view. And to my audience, continue to subscribe, hit that like button, notification bell, and share. Once again, thank you for joining Third Eye Visions, where I what is it? Motivate the blind, stimulate your mind, and welcome all kind. You heard me. So I'm out. Thanks again, Jennifer.
Sure, bye.
Okay, bye.